Welcome Warpath Firefighters to this Weight of Fire YouTube video where we're going to be doing a 1500 point firefight battle report where Hal will be bringing his
Forge Fathers today.
And I will be taking on the Marauders, taking on the Forge Fathers with the Marauders I should say. This is a bit of a homage to Rob Berman, who's been very helpful for us getting this all set up. So I take his favourite faction, which is the Greenskins. So without further ado, let's have a look at the factions themselves.
So 1500 points worth of Forge Fathers taken by me today, starting with some Storm Rage veterans. This is a heavy weapon squad with a missile launcher, a magma cannon and 3 hailstorm autocannons. Continuing on with the infantry, we've got the Brockers down here at the front. They are led by an engineer today for another command dice and the valuable repair command. They're also carrying 2 magma cannons in that squad. We've got our trusty Forge Guard. These are led by a sergeant this week, and we have a magma cannon for some moving and firing action. A second heavy weapon Storm Rage veteran squad, again same build, missile launcher, magma cannon, 3 hailstorm auto rifles. We have our Forge Lord sat there. He is also carrying the auto cannon, the hailstorm auto cannon, and he's got his shield projection. We have a weapons platform, trying this one out now, some artillery, and this is the Jotun weapons platform with the heavy hailstorm cannon. And finally, the big boys, we have Bruiser, who is a Brandir urban assault vehicle. So that's got the heavy Dragon Breath Flamer and the mobile defense ram on the front, so it's always in cover, should be quite useful. And finally, we have the Hulter half-track with the hailstorm autocannon.
So I will be bringing the Marauders today, and we'll start by looking through the army I've brought. So here we have 3 Ripper Rainmaker suits, Overkill suits. So these are the fully loaded ones. There's a Mauler in there, but he's pretending to be a Rainmaker. And then we've got 1 team of normal Marauder Commandos. These guys are going to be there to provide a bit of support and suppression because they have the heavy machine gun guy who's there. Not much else with them though. Bit more suppression is going to be coming in from this Goblin gun track with a mortar on top, so that's pretty helpful, particularly in a built up area like this where blast weapons will be able to do a bit more on buildings than otherwise. We have the Marauder Warlord at the front here. He's really a combat heavy guy, but brings a few command points too. And we have a Stump Bot who's actually pretty good in Warpath Firefight because he's got a decent weapon on with a decent range that he can fire as well, which is quite good, much better than in say Dead Zone. At the front here we've got a slightly larger unit of Marauders. These are more combat focused, so we've got a couple of Ripper Claws in there. The leader's got a Ripper Claw as well, he's at the back there, he's upgraded to a sergeant, and there are a couple of more beasts for also a bit more close combat dealing. We've got some Goblin Snipers at the back there, and the capering one is been upgraded to a sergeant, so he gives the precision fire order, so I'll be able to hopefully pick off any Huskars or specialist weapons that I don't like the look of in Hal's Forge Fighter list. We've got 2 Marauder Bombots. So these are just the guys who they're on their own, an individual model. I can move them forwards and I can explode them if I wish to. They can fight a little bit as well. They're not very good, but we're going to try them out. And we've got 2 Hulks at the back there. So the Hulks have a Polaris cannon each. So I knew how I was bringing a bit of armour, so I thought I would bring something to counter that. So if they get the right shots in, they should be able to see through even the hardest armour that the Forge Fathers can bring because they've got AP 6. And then finally we have our Marauder Captain, who is going to lead a faction, and he's got a very useful sort of extra ability in that he can potentially make use of failed orders of Hal's during the game, and I'll be able to play an order immediately, which is quite similar to how it works in Dead Zone if you're familiar with that. Right, so Hal has left the room now, so I'm going to explain what my secondary objectives are and what my overall strategy for the game is going to be today. So I've picked the 3 secondary objectives that you have in this mission because we are playing Occupation, and that's very similar to Violent Encounter, the first one, except that you get 1 victory point for every 10% of a force destroyed rather than 5% in the Violent Encounter. So it's a bit more emphasis on gaining objectives because they're worth 2 victory points each for the strategic assets on the board. The secondary objectives I've rolled up are Battlefield Escort. This is an all faction one. Pick one of your commanders if that model survives the battle, gain 3 victory points. Well, I'm obviously going to choose my Marauder captain because there's no way I want to get him close to combat anyway. He's only got a pistol and he's there about giving the order. So in this terrain, I'd hope to be able to get him, keep him alive. I think that'd be alright. The second one I've got is capture at all costs. So strategic asset B is worth triple the number of victory points for this mission. They're worth 2 anyway in this mission, so it's going to be worth 6 for me, so I absolutely have to grab that one. It's actually really close to my deployment zone, just over to the right here, so I should be able to get that one pretty certain, I think. And then finally I've got a GCPS specific one, which is no questions asked. So I gain 1 victory point for every order given that rolls more successes than required. I've got 8 command dice. That should be reasonably easy for me to score a few points, even if I throw some extra command dice at it. Plus, with the special ability for the Marauder Captain, I might even get to play some orders that don't even use my command dice. So hopefully this will be a real sort of victory point earner for me as well.
Okay, so my strategy based on my strategic objectives here. So I have 3 secondary objectives. First one, capture at all costs. So this is a difficult one for me because I'm going to have to move over halfway across the board to get strategic asset D. It seems quite difficult, but there is a nice avenue of fire there for me to control with my tanks, hopefully. I've got 2 more sitting on ones, so I've got hold your ground, so I get an extra victory point for each turn I have nothing suppressed. Now, looking at what Andy's brought, I think we might find that quite difficult because he's got snipers, he's got a mortar truck, so we'll see what we can do with that one. I've also got hold the line, so that's more playing into my sort of plan of sitting back. So I'm going to castle up to start off with, over in one corner, opposite objective D, see what he can bring at me, and once I've absorbed, hopefully some of it, picked off some of his units, then take the tanks forward, take that objective. That's the plan. It'll probably all go wrong. It normally does. The Forge Guard, I'm going to stick them in the tank to start off with, so hopefully they'll be able to march forward in that tank, nice and safe, and then they can jump on that objective late game. And we're on 5 turns, so I'm hoping by about turn 3 I should have cleared enough of that board, ready to get going turn 4. Okay.
So we had a few technical issues while we were filming with the overhead camera, but we can see Objective A in the yellow building in the middle, Objective B down here at the bottom of the picture, Objective C is just off camera at the top, Objective D is right in the centre, and Objective E is on the building just to the left of the screen at the top.
So this is a quick overview of the deployment before we start the game. So I'm standing at the side of the battlefield at the minute. So you can see on my left here you've got the Forge Fires, on the right you've got the Marauders. So we're going to see that it's a large industrial complex with a big industrial complex crossing across several roads in the centre, and then we've got a sort of a township on either side. So over here we've got the Forge Fire Halter half track with its what gun has it got again?
It's got a Hellstorm autocannon.
Hellstorm autocannon. So he's going to head round this side, I think, and terrorise my area. There's one of the strategic objectives here. This is strategic objective C, and then we've got in the centre we've got this very large industrial complex with the consoles at the top, and we've got strategic objective A. There's no one quite by that building just yet, so Hal has kept most of his guys over here. He's got his Brockers behind this building, and he's got his Storm Rage veterans deployed in the building, so they'll have cover from the start. All of the terrain you see is defensible, none of it's fortified. We've got another unit here of Storm Rage veterans who are just behind that building because the building wasn't fully in a deployment zone when he went to put his models down. And then behind him he's got his Huskarl, who is going to also give a bit of boost with the shield project, which is denoted by that blue marker there. And that's got a 12-inch range and shield 2. So it's not massive, but it's going to be helpful. And if he keeps him hidden, it will be awkward for me because I won't be able to put suppression onto his Forge Father Huskarl to take the shield down. Which is probably a really good strategy. Well done.
I was thinking.
Working there. There's a Jotun platform here with the heavy Hailstorm autocannons, which is going to rain down fire onto my Marauders, I'm sure. And here we've got the PRDER heavy assault tank, and inside that he's got his Forge Guard. So that's going to be pretty nasty with its great big flamer on the top, saturation. It's got mobile defences with the ram. It can even ram stuff as well, of course. And then he's going to drop out his forge guard as well. So actually that has suddenly become target number 1. So across the map for the Marauders, what you can see across the industrial complex, we can see a few more strategic objectives. There's strategic objective B over there, and there's strategic objective D just under here by this piping. I have set up here with one of my Marauder squads. These are just the normal ones with a heavy machine gun. Behind them they've got one of the Morbeast bombers, and then we've got the mortar track at the back there. Just out of vision, hiding inside that building, can't quite see him, is my commander, Marauder captain, and a Hulk as well. And then hiding behind this wall we have the Ripper Rainmakers getting a bit of cover. In this building we have the team of snipers, goblin snipers. I'm just going to move around a little bit so you can see a little bit better. We have the final strategic objective here, which is E, and then we have the more close combat Marauder unit with the Ripper Claws and the Morbeasts. We have the Stump Bot here at the back. We have the Warlord who's going to support these guys as he goes forwards. We've got another Hulk here who's ready to take a firing position to use his Polaris cannon to take out any of that heavy armour. And we have the final Morbeast bomber, because I just rereading the stats there, he does only AP 1 when he blows up, so against the armour that Hal's brought he's going to do nothing. So unless I can get him up close to Hal's infantry, he's probably not going to play much of a part in this game at all. Inside there you can see where the Hulk is hiding out, and again we'll just go around the other side again just to show where that Marauder captain is really just checking out that these troops are doing what he wants them to do and leading from the rear like all good commanders should. So I've just moved forward this Marauder troop into take this building with strategic asset B, and then they're going to fire out from here onto the Jotun, which is at the end there. But I'm out of range with my normal gun, so it's only the heavy machine gun that can reach. So he's going to be firing with 3 dice, and he has suppressive fire 1. There's no cover, so he's going to use his normal accuracy of 4+. So I should hopefully get some hits here. Ah, that's good. So we get 3 hits on him, and he is going to do some damage.
Well, my defense is 6, so...
So that's a bit of a shame. But I do have no AP on this, so I'm going to need 6s to hit, to wound, sorry. So no wounds, but we do 2 suppression, 1 for being hit, and 1 for a suppressive fire weapon.
So I am going to activate that Jotun straight away. I'm worried it's going to die, so I'm going to take a rally action to take a suppression counter off it straight away.
How means a regroup action? It's a short action.
Yeah, I'm still getting them two mixed up. So we're going to do that, which means we're no longer suppressed, and then we're going to return fire onto that unit of Marauders, I believe. We've got 4 dice to do that, so we're going to return fire and off.
So go ahead.
Okay, so I am normally shooting on 4s. I'm under half range with this cannon, so we take it to 3s, but he's in cover, so let's get back to 4s. So I've got 4 dice, and we're looking for 4s. Oh, that was not
That's what we like.
Just the 1. And we are... let's just check. We are suppressive fire 2, and we're AP 2. So I'm assuming these guys are quite weak.
Yeah, that is a wound because their defense is only 4.
Okay, so you'll take 2 suppression from that then.
Just mentioning something here about this unit that got hit by the Jotun at the back there. So what the difference is here is that it was suppressive 2, so that's why there's 2 suppression points there. What we're doing correctly this time, we didn't do right before, is that I don't gain an extra suppression because I didn't lose more than 1 model. I only lost the 1. And also because they're in a building, they gain unflinching, which means they don't take the extra suppression for being hit. So I'm going to activate this Hulk that's in the building here because he can see right across at the PRDER Heavy Assault tank, and I really don't like the look of that. He is in range, so he's got an accuracy of 3+, but that would be 4+. because of the mobile defences that the PRDER carries with its shield. So that's only 50-50 odds, obviously. So I'm going to use a Firestorm order from the Marauder captain who's underneath. And so I need a 1 success on this to get the Firestorm order to re-roll hits, because the Hulk only has 1 die, so I really do want it to go through. And it does, but I lose the dice. So he gets 1 dice to hit, normally on a 3, down to a 4 now because of the mobile defences, but I get to re-roll it if I miss. I managed to hit anyway. It's AP 6 and the PRDER is defense 9, so I need a 3 or more. Also it's anti-tank, so a 5 or a 6 will gain the Shredder ability, which means I'll roll another dice again, and that can keep going again and again and again. A bit like the Exploding 8s in Dead Zone if you play that. Oh! So that's good.
Unbelievable.
So that's gone through, and I get to roll again for the Shredder rule. And again for the Shredder rule.
I wonder why he gave me the white dice at the start. It's like, oh, you take them ones.
So a 3 was enough, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so actually that's 3 hits then. Right, let's see what they...
my resilience is like 15.
Yeah.
Or is it? It's resilience of 5.
Yeah, so he's taken 3 wounds already on his PRDER, which isn't going to kill it, of course, but that will be 1 suppression for being hit, another suppression for taking more than 1 point of damage. And that's it for that. That's pretty good for the Hulk there. Pretty happy with that.
Okay, so that worried me a little bit. So what I'm going to do is use an order at the start of my turn here to use my engineer to try and repair that PRDER. Now, I'm going to use 1 dice because it's a specialist order, the repair order, so I'm going to have a go at that. Okay, so this is my repair order, and I do it and I get it back. Happy days. Right, so that's good. So that takes me down to 2 damage. Okay, so I'm going to use my Storm Rage Veterans, but again, I want to use another order on these to see if I can re-roll their misses. So I'm going to use the Firestorm order on these so to improve their shooting, hopefully. Okay, here we go with the Firestorm order. We get it. Number 1. There we go. Lovely. Right, so I've got this unit with their Firestorm order. We've just checked the rules for partial tiles, being able to see out, and it would only be 2 of my models shooting, which would be disappointing. So what I'm going to do is going to keep 2 models without moving in the building, and I'm going to move the other 2 with a half order. Okay, so these 2, the Magma Cannon and the Missile Launcher, have the heavy firepower also. I'm not going to move those, but I'm going to move 2 of the guys with Hailstorm Water Cannons to shoot across at those Marauders over there. Okay, so we'll go with the Missile Launcher first, and this will be normally hitting on 4s, and it'll be 5s because of the terrain. Oh, we get it. And that does D3 plus 2 in a blast. So that's 4 damage from the Missile Launcher. Okay.
And actually, because it's a blast weapon, it wouldn't actually have had the -1 for cover.
Oh, right, okay. Excellent.
So that would have been fine.
Right, so we've got our 4 dice. We're AP 2. What's your defense on them, guys?
It's only 4, so 2 is... Ouch.
Brilliant. Okay, so the Missile Launcher on its own takes out 4 guys.
That's not good for that team.
Right, we've next got the Magma Cannon, just 1 dice. So this isn't blast, so we're looking for 5s, and that's not good enough. And we've got 2 Hailstorm Cannons. The auto cannons, they're 2 dice each. And they're on, oh dear, 5s.
Haven't you got the Firestorm order on these?
Oh yeah, we have. So we can, good call. So we can re-roll those ones, and we can re-roll the Magma Cannon. So, and the Magma Cannon? No, he doesn't get it either.
Right, okay.
That was a useless order.
I'm going to do what I did before. I had such a lot of success with the Hulk, so I'm going to use this other Hulk, move him into the building, and then he is going to fire onto the PRDER assault cannon tank as well. Before I do that, my Marauder Warlord is actually going to use a Firestorm order on him again as well. So this is a level 1 order.
Poor tank's getting beaten today.
So it's level 1 order, I need 1 success. I get it, but I don't get the dice back. So I've lost 2 of my 8 command dice now. Now he only has 1 dice, this Hulk. But there's no, he gets cover from the mobile defences of the PRDER, so he's normally hitting on a 3, that goes to a 4, but I can re-roll misses. He gets it anyway.
Unbelievable, with a 6 again.
Well, that's to hit, but now comes the bit where I really want 5s and 6s, because I am anti-tank and AP6, so I need 3 or more.
3s, yeah.
If I get a 5 or a 6 though, it'll explode and I'll get to do
This
another.
time you must roll a 1.
No, it's 1 hit, but it doesn't explode, unfortunately. So it does 1 more wound onto and 1 more suppression onto the brander.
Right, so we had a bit of success with those, so I'm going to use the other Storm Rage veterans to... they've had to move, so the heavy weapons aren't going to be able to fire this turn, so the missile launcher and the magma cannon, but I still can fire my Hailstorm auto cannons, and we're going to fire over them goblin snipers because they're worrying me. So we're going to put some suppression onto them, hopefully. I'm going to use the Firestorm order as well, because I'm not being very good at rolling dice at the minute. So I have 4 command dice left. I'm only going to use 1. Because I'm not feeling like I need to waste them all. We get it again, is that a 3? Yes it is. Lovely, so they've got the Firestorm order on them. So I've got 3 of these autocannons now. Normally hitting on 4s. And so we're going to be 5s, because if you're in the building. Here we go. Well, I can re-roll the misses. You won't be laughing when I roll another 5s now. Oh no! There we go.
Better than your last one where you just rolled the same again.
Yeah, so I got 5, which is quite nice because they're AP2 as well.
Well, we've just checked, and goblins' defense is 2. So these are going to be 4 dead goblins, I think. 5 dead goblins even.
Oh, we got.
Oh no, 4 dead goblins. So there's 1 goblin left alive. Yay!
Is that your sergeant?
Yeah. So again, they take 1 damage. Sorry, they take 4 guys die and 1. There's no suppression, is there?
These are suppressive fire 1.
Alright,
these
so
guns.
they take 2 suppression, 1 for the weapon and 1 for losing more than 1 model. I am going to activate this Goblin Sniper team. Although there's hardly any men left in it, I'm going to activate them to essentially try and take down the shield off of that's protecting Hal's infantry here. So he's going to fire across at these guys in the building. Unfortunately, I am suppressed and I am firing at guys in cover, so it's going to be -2. I have an accuracy of 3, but I'm only going to get 1 dice, and I will need a 5, obviously. Darn it. So we didn't get that. So that's a wasted activation, but if it had hit, because it was suppressive, it would have actually taken 2 points of shield down.
So I've done a little bit of manoeuvring with the halter because I'm really worried about that stun bot with its AP because the defense on this isn't that good. So we are going to track back across this way. I was looking to get to fire a unit that's already been targeted, but I can't get that far because my gun's only 30 inches. So I'm going to fire a cheeky little shot through the buildings at that Marauder unit. I can see the commandos who are hiding in there. They're going to pick up cover, but it's worth a little shot. So I'm normally on 4s, I'm going to be hitting on 5s. And I fail.
I'm going to use a refresh order from my commander who's in this building onto this unit. And the idea here is that they will take off their activation. Then, because they've got headstrong, they'll lose 1 of their 3 suppression. I'll then be able to make a short action to do a regroup and take another suppression off, which will then mean that they're not suppressed. And then with the last short action, I'll be able to fire onto the Storm Rage veterans in that building there. And the idea of that is that the heavy machine gun will hopefully do enough hits that I will be able to overcome the shield, which is in the Huskarl house behind that building, which is a real problem for me in a minute because the bubble is affecting everyone, which means that everyone I try and hit is going to be soaked by the shield. And as a lot of my decent weapons have only got 1 dice, it's a real problem. So I'm going to throw 2 command dice at this, and hopefully we'll get a success. It's a level 2 order. I've got 2 command dice throwing at it, 1 blank and 1 level 2. So we do get a success. So that was a success, so we'll take away the activation. Headstrong takes away 1 suppression. I'll do a regroup action, take away 1 more suppression. They've got a nerve of 2, so they're now no longer suppressed. So I will now shoot with 2 guys and 1 heavy machine gun onto that unit of Storm Rage veterans across the street from them. I've got 2 dice from the rifles. I'll roll these first because it's the first hits that take down the shield. So if I want the suppression bonus from having the heavy machine guns, I want those to go through. So ideally I'll hit with both of these, take the shield down, and then the heavy machine gun will go through onto the infantry. However, I do need to hit on 4s normally, but that goes to 5s because of cover. Of course, you can get either of those, so that's no good. So now I'm just left with a heavy machine gun. Right, so we managed to get through. So we did 1, 2, 3. So the first two take the shield down, and then the last one will get through and do a point of suppression and possibly a point of damage on the infantry.
Okay, so defense 6, these guys.
And the heavy machine gun has no AP, so... Oh, we managed to take one down though, so that's good. So you presumably want to take a Hailstorm down. But...
Right, I'm quite keen to get rid of that unit because they're annoying. So I'm going to attempt to refresh my heavy Hailstorm Jotun there. So I've got 2 dice. I'm going to throw 2 dice at this. It's a level 2 order.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get 3 successes and I get one of them dice back, which is quite nice. Now the Jotun's reactivated, he's going to...
I like the fact you said deactivate.
Deactivate. He's going to take off a suppression. Is that a regroup or a rally? I can't remember.
It's a regroup to take off one.
Regroup to take off 1. And then he's going to shoot onto that unit of Marauders in that building.
These poor guys are getting obliterated.
To try and finish them off. So 4 dice on 5s. I've got 3. Happy days. AP 2.
Yeah, the defence is only 4, I'm afraid, so that will be 2s. It's maybe the end of my Marauder team, I think.
2 more dice.
There's still 1 left, yay! So I'm going to activate the Ripper Rainmakers. I don't really want to, but I need to get rid of those Storm Rage veterans there, and I want to hit them with my mortar, but my mortar's only got 1 dice, so although the blast is really good against troops in buildings, they've still got 1 point of shield on them, which is a real pain. So I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to use my Ripper Rainmakers here, and I might well split their fire by weapon group because I can probably lay some fire down onto the Brander as well. Okay. So what I decided to do is I'm going to use 2 dice of rocket launchers, one from each of 2 of the 3 Ripper Rainmaker suits, and they are going to fire at those.
They're going to roll 1s. They're going to roll 1s.
I normally hit on 4s. You would normally get -1 for cover, but because they've got a blast weapon, that ignores the cover effect. So I need 4s to hit those. And also the shield won't count because it's AP 3, and the shield was only level 2 originally, and level 1 for these guys because they've got 1 point of suppression on them already. So I can just basically ignore that. We've got 1 that went through and 1 that missed. So the one that went through has AP, it's Blast D3 for a start. So that's 2, okay, and it's
3.
It's AP3.
And my defense is 6, so
6 on those guys, or 5.
I think it's 6. Let me check.
After Hal's trying to cheat us by saying they had defense 6, they actually got defense 5. So with AP3, they'll go down to just 2. So 2s to kill. Yeah, so that's 2 dead Storm Rage veterans, and that was even better because that will take an extra point on suppression on them, which will mean they'll have no shield if I want to hit them again with the mortar in a minute. So in that Ripper Rainmaker squad, I've got 1 guy left with a Hugh Beamer. Now because it's a different weapon group, he can fire at a different target if I want, and so it's only 1 dice, but he hits on 4s, and I'm going to shoot at the Brandir tank in the corner, but because of the cover he carries with his mobile defences, it'll actually be a 5 or a 6 to hit. If I do hit him, it is AP4 though, an anti-tank, so it's got a chance. But I don't hit it at all. So that's the end of that unit's activation.
So basically I've just double moved the Brandir. I'm a little bit concerned it might die before it gets where I want it to get, so I have moved it forward there. I'm going to activate it there.
And he had Headstrong here as well, so he's taken 1 of the 2 suppression that he had off. So he's sitting fairly pretty, apart from the fact he's got 3 wounds. Obviously remember we've got the Forge Guard inside this unit, and the Forge Guard will be able to come out at the start of an activation. They'll be able to deploy within 6 inches of it. Okay, so I'm going to try and reactivate my Ripper Rainmakers there. So it's a level 2 order, refresh them. I'm only going to throw 1 dice at it because I've realised I've only got 4 command dice left, so if I use...
Yeah, it's not like you're plagued with the 25 dice, whatever they are.
Yeah, so I don't want to burn through them all. I would quite like to take out the Brandir because I know the Forge Guard are inside it, so I'd quite like to get rid of 1 target before they appear. So we'll try that and see if we can reactivate them. We do, and I get the dice back, so that's pretty cool. Okay, good. In that case, we will fire 1 missile launcher from each of the Ripper Rainmakers, so that's 3 dice, onto the Brander. Normally hits on 4s, 5s because of the cover. I can't use any other order, of course, because they've just had one order on them. So 5s to hit, but if I do hit, it'll be AP3 and Blast D3. So one of them hits, and that is Blast D3. That's what I'm after, and it's AP3.
So I'm 9 normally, so 6s.
6s, and of course all hits against tanks are on Shredder as well, so if I get 6s, not only does it cause a wound, but it gets me to roll again as well. Oh, 1, so we will roll the Shredder effect for that anyway. No, but we get 1 extra wound, so it takes him to 4.
4.
He's one away from dying.
Dying, yeah. Right, so I'm going to use a move order on my Brockers to get them into the action, I think. So we are going to use 1 command dice for this. It's a level 1 order, so let's see what we get. We get it, but we don't get the dice back, unfortunately. Right, well, I've just moved up my Brockers. They've done a little suicide charge into the open, but they're still shielded by the Forge Lord, who is over here. Now, what are you doing, Andy, now?
I've just moved this gun track up to fire its mortar in a slightly better position into the last of those Storm Rage veterans who are now unshielded. Because this is a blast, this goes some of the terrain. Because it's a blast weapon, it will not have the cover benefit, and obviously they don't have a shield now. So I'm really hoping that I manage to take these out. But I've only got 1 dice, so I'm going to throw a Firestorm order at them too, so that I can try and maximise the chances of destroying that unit. So Firestorm order onto the mortar, gun track, level 1 order, 1 dice. No! So what I did is to get the 1 dice, and I need a 4 to hit that building. So I really do want this to hit. And of course it doesn't. Oh well, that gun track hasn't doing much this turn.
Right, so I've just moved the Forge Lord forward, so his shield bubble will still cover the units that are advancing now. And he's going to fire his rifle at the last Marauder commando in that building there. Firing with his Hailstorm rifle, 1 dice, normally on 3s, goes to force for the cover, gets it. It's AP1.
Defense only 4 on these guys, so that's 3.
So let's see what we can do.
Oh, it takes the last one away. That squad is eliminated.
Lovely.
So I'm just going to run through the last activations I did there. So I just moved up my Marauder Warlord here. He's just hiding in that cover behind a building, supporting the stump bot. And I moved up the other Marauder team, the more close combat orientated one with the more beasts here. Well, I've left a man behind, so I'll take him up. The Hulk obviously is still up there. Snipers here, just running through the board state as well. At the back here, just looking forward, you can just about see a more beast who's run up under those pipes. He couldn't quite get in, even with a move order, to be close enough to those Brockers to blow them up. We've got the Rainmakers down here. Another Hulk inside that building, my commander hiding at the back. We've got a highly unsuccessful mortar gun track, and we've got 1 more beast who's the only thing left over this side after that squad eventually got wiped out. Going across to Hal's army, we can see the Forge Firefight is still there, and it's got 4 points on it. You never dropped your Forge Guard out.
No, I wasn't going to.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine, as long as that was a plan.
Yeah, it was.
And he's got his Huskarl, who's moved forwards into that building with the remains of the Storm Rage veterans. He's got his... I'm just going to move back a little bit. We've got his Brockers who are moving into the industrial centre, where, let's face it, they feel more at home. Although they look exposed, they've still got the shield on them. We've got the Storm Rage veteran there, it's completely undamaged. And finally, over the back here, we've got his Halter half-track, who is sitting pretty, just sort of getting himself into position. Who's probably sort of rather oddly deployed over on 1 flank initially. So I think, you know, at the start of this end of turn 1, I think probably slight advantage to the Forge Fathers, although the Halter is, the Brander is pretty damaged. It was quite evident I was running out of stuff to deal with his shielded units in that turn. So let's take those activations off and see what happens at the start of turn 2. So at the start of turn 2, we're going to re-roll command dice, the ones that we used. So I used 5. So if any, I'll roll all of these. If any pluses come up, I'll get them to go back into my hand to use this turn. And I didn't get any of those back, so I'm stuck with the 3 that I still have for this round.
Okay, I used 4 command dice out of my 5, so here we go. Did I get any back?
Yeah, you got 1.
Woohoo! Right, I'm going to start my turn again with my Brandir, but what I'm going to try and do is do a bounding Overwatch order. I'm worried about this getting blown up while the Forge Guard are inside. So if I can move it, and then the bounding Overwatch allows me then to activate the Forge Guard and get them out. So I can kind of get an extra bit of movement from the Forge Guard. So that's what I'm going to try and do. It's level 1 order. Here we go. Level 1 order. See what we get. Oh. Ridiculous.
So because Hal fluffed that command dice, I'm going to try and use Tactical Genius, which is a Marauder specific, or Marauder Commando Captain specific order, which is a level 2 order, and it's reactionary. So I'm going to throw 1 dice at it. I can choose to throw as many as I want at it, but I'm going to throw 1, and if I get it, then I can take Hal's command dice that he just got a blank on, and I can make another order with that for one of my units, which would break the sequence of activation. So that would give me a chance to destroy his Brander before his men get out, for instance. So here we go, I need a 2 or more. Oh, yes! So again, I lose the dice, but I do get that. And now I can take Hal's dice, and I'm going to do a Firestorm order on one of my... Oh, I'm going to come back to you in just a second. So just having to think, I'm going to use my Ripper suits to if I can activate them with a Firestorm on them, hopefully. We'll be able to put some fire down onto that Brander. Yes, and, well, we've got the dice back.
It's my dice, you can't have it.
Yeah, so I think the pluses don't count. Yeah, they're ignored, so that goes back into Hal's pot. But I do successfully activate the Ripper Rainmakers, and they are going to fire with a Firestorm order from here onto the Brander, which will be in cover. But obviously I'll be able to re-roll the misses, and at AP 4 and anti-tank, I'm hoping that they'll be able to do some damage.
So AP4 will knock off the shield because it is shielded from the commander's bubble, but AP4 will just take that off, unfortunately.
So their accuracy 4 normally, he's always in cover because of his mobile defences, but of course we've now got the Firestorm order on these guys, so 5s and 6s to hit, and then re-rolling any misses. Right, so 1 hits, and 2 to re-roll. Oh, good, so we got 2 hits, and 1 of those missed. Now,
what's the AP on it? 3, just 4.
So the AP is 4, so I need 5 or 6s to damage, but because it's anti-tank, those 5 or 6s will actually explode as well, so I really do want some of these to go through. We've got 1, which I think is enough to destroy the Brander. So
roll your other one as well, though. I think it depending on how many successes you get.
Yeah. So another one goes through, but the other one didn't. So that exploded off the anti-tank, but obviously it didn't get another 5 or 6. So it just does 1 wound, but fortunately, because I'd done enough in the first turn, it now explodes. So we just check the rules on destroying vehicles. Obviously the first time we've played with heavy vehicles, because we've only just received the Forge Father tanks. So the tank was destroyed, but because it equaled its resilience, if I'd done one more damage to it, it would have exploded, and that would have meant that the Forge Guard inside would have taken damage. And damage when you're inside a transport is a little bit worse than if you're just standing around it, because firstly you automatically hit rather than being a range, but also the AP is 2 rather than 1, which again for Forge Guard would make quite a big difference because their defence is quite high. But they have to deploy next to the tank as close as possible, and the Forge Guard tank will stay there as a piece of impassable terrain. So I'm really happy with how that worked. Obviously we did quite a lot of damage in the first turn on the Brando, because we really only did 1 then, but it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And obviously if Hal had got that order, he was right to be concerned about his unit. And I think he would have done really well, because he probably would have moved the tank up here, and then it would have been left as a potential to sort of flame things anyway later on in the turn, and his Forge Guard would then have been able to take 1 or both of these objectives.
Okay, so I'm going to activate these Forge Guard now, move them up, and put some fire onto the Ripper suits that just took out their transport. See if I can damage them. Now, I have got a magma cannon in there that can move and fire, so hopefully with the AP on that it can do some damage. 4 dice on 4s using the Hailstorm rifles. It's 3. Lovely, they're AP 1.
Defense is 5 on these guys, with a resilience of 2.
Okay, so we'll reroll these ones. Okay, that's 2 wounds there.
Yeah, so that kills 1 Ripper Rainmaker suit.
Lovely, and then we've got the magma cannon. That's just 1 dice. This is anti-tank, AP6.
Anti-tank don't matter on these.
It hits, so it's AP6, so 2s.
Yeah.
Okay, but we killed one, so that's...
So you killed one, and that put... Are there any suppressive fire from them?
No, the Hellstorm rifles aren't suppressive, which is...
Yeah, so they'll take 1 for being hit, and they'll take another 1 for taking more than 1 point of damage.
Yeah.
So we're going to activate this Marauders. They're going to move up 5, still staying in some degree of cover. And then they're going to put a bit of fire down onto the Brockers, who are just in there. So they will be now within their range, and they are going to lay some fire down upon them. So these Brockers are shielded, so I'll discount the first 2 hits I put on them. I'm shooting on 4s, so 7 dice worth, so hopefully be okay. I can see more than half of the squad, so they're not in any cover. So here we go. Oh, that's not ideal. It's just 2, but that does take their shield down, so at least that's something. Maybe it would have been worth a Firestorm order, but it's done now. Just rechecking that. So actually, because I didn't get past the shield, and I didn't put any suppression on them. Actually, it doesn't do anything. So the shield just sucks up all those shots, and the Brockers are as happy as they were before, which is really annoying. So with hindsight, it would have been worth throwing maybe a Firestorm at that, because with an accuracy of 4, I would have expected to take off the shield and then potentially take off some guys, and the Brockers' defense is not high either. It's only 3 or 4 anyway, so that was probably a mistake on my part there.
So I'm going to activate these Storm Rage Veterans. Headstrong takes one of the suppression off, and they're going to shoot with the Rainmakers as well, so they can do some more damage. Nice with the Magma Cannon. Let's just check their fire. Let's fire on 4s, these guys. 4s, 5 to core. No, missed. And 1 missile launcher, 5 as well. We've got it. It's plus D3 plus 2. So
4. An AP on that?
D3 plus 2, so it'd be 2. Oh yeah, 4.
Yeah. Plus 2. That's what maths is.
Yeah, sorry. AP 2.
So defense is 5, so that's not great. Freeze. 3. So that kills another Ripper and puts a wound on another one, and will also put 2 points of suppression upon them. Right, we're just checking the rules. I was going to move this Maw-Beast and charge the Brockers, and then I thought, oh no, they're not activated. They'll be able to kill him well before he gets in. But actually, just checking the rules, he's got fire in the hole, which means you can't make a charge reaction to him, even if you're unactivated or in buildings. So he's well within his charge range. He's going to charge out of here into these Brockers, and he's going to try and munch them up. They're probably going to kill him, but if they kill him, he's got the boom special ability, and he will be able to do hopefully a fair bit of damage on them then. So the Maw-Beast charging in, he gets 2 dice plus 1 for charging, and he is going to munch up the Brockers on a 4+. So he managed to get 3, which is good. He's AP 1. The defense for the Brocker is 4, so that's freeze to wound. So actually manages to take down 3 Brockers, which is really good. But of course the Brockers do get to fight back, and there is a whole host of those. So Hal gets a total of 2 dice per model, and he has lots. 17 dice, and 1 for the leader as well.
They hit on 4s, these guys.
So hitting on 4s, so let's see how many we've got left. The defense for the Maw-Beast,
8, 10.
The defense for the Maw-Beast is only 3+, so all of them are AP 1, and the leader was AP 4, but we just rolled them all together because they're all going to be on 2+ anyway. So obviously he is well and truly destroyed because he has a resilience of 1.
3, 6,
but
9.
now
9
he will go boom, which means that he gets D6 plus 1 points of damage. So another 5. So it's AP 1, their defense is 4, so here we go, see if I can take out most of this unit. So we do an extra 3 casualties. So he killed 3 in combat, and then when he blew up, he killed another 3. That's pretty good for that Maw-Beast.
Okay, I'm quite keen to get rid of those Rainmakers altogether, so I'm going to do a Firestorm order onto the Jotland, and then shoot with its 4 dice onto that last Rainmaker suit. Last command dice now, so I need a 1 or better. I get it, so 3, but I lose the last dice, which is disappointing. 4 dice, re-rolling, it's normally on 4s, so we'll go to 5s for cover. We reroll these two. No. So we get 2 hits on the Rainmaker, and it's suppression 2.
AP?
And it is, let's just find it, it is AP 2.
The defense is 5 normally, so that will be 3s. And he's got 1, which is all you needed to take off.
Oh yeah, because he's injured already.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So he takes off the last Ripper. Okay, we're going to activate this Hulk in here. He's just going to fire down onto the Forge Guard in that building because he's only got 1 dice, but with his AP he should be able to do some damage. So he normally hits on a 3, but he's going to hit on a 4 because of the cover. So it's a hit, and it's AP 6, so it's anything but a 1 to wound a Forge Guard. The shield doesn't count because the AP is higher than the shield value. And he just about manages to kill 1 Forge Guard.
We've got a Storm Rage Veteran unit firing the just in range for the Hulk that's in the building there. So they've got the Hailstorm autocannons, a magma rifle, and a missile launcher. Missile launcher, normally 5s, 4s for cover. 5s for cover, so it hits. It does D3 plus. I keep forgetting what this one does. It's D3 plus 2 blast. So 4. So defense 5, AP 2 for the missiles with 3s. 3.
He's only got a resilience. He has a resilience of 3, but that's obviously enough to kill him.
Alright, we'll see if we can split our fire then. So we're going to split our fire with our Hailstorm autocannons. The magma cannon can't see, he's tucked away in the building, but there's 2 on the roof up there, and they can see this Marauder Commander unit charging across the middle. So they can put 4 dice onto them. They're going to pick up cover from the edge of the building. So normally 4s, onto 5s. We get 3. Lovely.
Defense is only 4 on these guys.
We're AP 2. So 2. And we are also suppressive 1 as well. So
okay. That will give them 1, 2, 3 points of suppression. Lovely. And 2 models dead. Go ahead.
So the magma cannon from that unit splits its fire. We did it early, we did it off camera. He missed the goblin in the building. The Halter has now moved around the side of this building with a single move action, and we'll use a shoot action with its Hailstorm auto cannon onto that goblin to try and kill
the capering goblin.
See if we can get rid of him. 2 dice. 4s to hit. Is he in cover? 5s?
Yes. 1. That'll be a 2 to kill him.
AP 2.
Ah, he survived again! So this gun track is going to fire onto this building that contains the last of the Forge Guard, 2 of them there. They'll get cover obviously. The other thing we had to check was that because he's indirect, he's got a minimum range of 12, but he's about 14 inches away, so that's okay. He gets a -1 because of the cover, so I'm normally hitting on 4s, that's 5s. So I'm going to give a Firestorm order to make it more likely to succeed. So it's a level 1 order, this Firestorm. And we get it, but we lose the dice. And he gets 1 dice, hitting on 5s, but rerolling misses. Oh, he hits anyway. And this is where it's important, because he does D6 plus 2 points of blast. Actually, the cover wouldn't have mattered, because it's blast. So just 3. No AP, so I need 6s. I need a 6 to kill, though, because there's no AP. That's annoying. And I wasted a command order I probably didn't need. Okay. Remember people, safety begins with teamwork. So at the end of round 2 we can see a few other things. Marauder Stuntbot has moved around the buildings here. Hopefully going to come around in a moment and attack the Halter half track. There's a couple of Brockers left in the middle there. Storm Rage Veterans which are untouched at the back here. More Storm Rage Veterans there. Jotun at the back for us to burn out Brander. Last little bits of Forge Guard there. There's not a lot on the Marauder side. Not left either. There's a gun track here. There's the commander and the Hulk in that building. There's a single goblin left on top who refuses to die. That Hulk has been taken out. There's a squad here of the more close combat Marauders, and obviously the Stuntbot that we saw earlier on.
Okay, I'm pretty confident the close combat Stuntbot's going to take my Halter to the woodshed if I'm not careful. So I've moved him right out of the way. And I'm just going to use his Hailstorm autocannon to put some fire onto those Marauders, see if we can suppress them. 2 dice, normally on 4s, I think they pick up cover because I can only see half the unit. So we get 1.
Defense is only 4.
AP 2. It's enough. 2.
Takes a model off. Warlord here.
So
My Marauder Warlord here is gonna, if he does a move order, which is level 1 order, he can go right around his building and into that halter half track, and I'm keen to do that because he's got these big ripper claws as well, and I think that'd be good. Obviously Hal has already activated that, so he'll be able to do it without too much bother. It's a level 1 order, he gets a 2, and I get a plus, so I get my dice back, and because it's actually more than my order, I actually score a victory point at last, which I will record for later. I've got my Mercenary Warlord there, he's got 3 dice, he gets a +1 dice because he's charged in. Obviously there's no charge reaction because Hal has already activated. He could potentially have done a charge reaction with another unit using an order, but he's chosen not to. And I am AP2 and anti-tank, so his defence is normally 7, so if I hit him, which I'm hitting on 4s, then hopefully I will be able to rip through his armour. 4s, yeah, that's good, so we get 3 of those in. Now I am AP2 as I said, so I need 5s, but that counts as 5s or 6s, will also count as extra dice because of Shredder and anti-tank. Just 1, but it explodes to another dice, which explodes to another dice, which just doesn't quite do it, so I put 2 damage onto him. If that had kept rolling, obviously I could have put the 4 that needed to destroy him.
right, the Brockers, I've seen their half track in trouble and I've charged in. There's only 2 of them left, but you never know, they might be able to do something.
There's no charge action from the Warlord because he is already activated.
Okay, so I've got 3 dice from the guy with the magma cannon. He's AP
3 dice.
3 dice, yeah, because he gets +1 dice for charging. 2 dice normally.
Oh, 2 normally. So
2 normally, +1 for charging, and then the engineer that's with him gets 1 dice, but 1 for charging, so he's AP 4. So no AP for the white dice, AP 4 for the red dice. Hitting on 4s. Oops.
Do you want to roll those again?
Yeah, let's just roll those ones again. There we go.
What are you hitting on?
4s.
Alright, is it 2?
Yeah, so we hit 2. So 1 AP 4.
My defence is 5, that's pretty rubbish actually. That's a wound.
And 1 no AP.
Phew, that's a bit of luck because you only got a resilience of 2, so you could have killed him then. I get 3 dice, hitting on 4s, so they all hit. I am AP 2, so it's 2s, and we've wiped out the Broccolis in return. But obviously I did take a wound. We just remembered that after a combat I can make a move with the loser, so I've moved this tank forwards, so I can move it in any direction, so it's easier for me now. And then I'm going to charge with my stunt bot to attack him here, and the stunt bot is hopefully going to do some damage on him. The bot gets 3 dice, +1 for charging in, hits on 4s, so he gets 3 of those. Oh, that's pretty good. He's got AP 4 with his buzzsaw, and the defence is 7, so only 3s. It's not anti-tank or anything, but obviously 6s will count as Shredder because they do against any vehicles. So we've got 2 already.
2's enough to kill it.
6 is an extra 1. This is important because if I do extra damage, he will explode.
And blow your storm bolt.
So we actually do 3 points of damage, which gives him a total of 5, which means he will explode. So as we exceeded the resilience, it does explode, it isn't just destroyed. It only exceeded by 1, so anyone within a 1-inch radius of the vehicle will take potential damage, so that means the Warlord is okay, but the stunt bot takes potential damage, and it will take a d6 damage plus the vehicle's resilience. So here's a d6, we only got 2, so +4, so that means that we're rolling 6 dice, and these are all at AP1. My stunt bot has a defence of 7, so if any of these are 6s, which presumably have Shredder as well, then they will do damage to the stunt bot. There's no 6s, so it doesn't take any damage, fortunately. But that tank is destroyed.
Storm Rage veterans are going to go at the stunt bot. The magma cannon is at half range now, so it will get +1 to hit, negating that cover provided by my own tank. How annoying. So that will go on a 4. 4 to hit with the magma cannon. Gets it, it's AP 6.
I'm defence 7, that's not very good. That is a wound. Okay. He has a resilience of 4.
Okay, so...
sorry, hang on, I'm reading the wrong stat line. He has a resilience of 2, is that right? Oh dear.
Okay.
No, he has a resilience of 4, sorry.
Rocket launcher now. Hit on 5s. Cool.
Try and roll him in the tray.
Gets it.
Ah!
D3 plus 2.
Ah!
5 dice. AP2 now.
5s, but is it anti-tank or is it just...
Let's just check. Sorry. It's not. Oh, the magma cannon was anti-tank. This isn't.
Oh, still those 2 6s count as shredder though, so they will get to roll them at 2 extra dice. What was it, AP2?
Yeah.
Right, so it's just the 2, so you need 5s.
So that's 3 so far.
Mm.
And we've got 3 hailstorm autocannons.
This isn't looking good for the stunt boy. You're doing very good rolling on
dice. On 5s.
1.
That's AP2.
5 again to wound.
That's enough to blow it up, isn't it?
It's so it's destroyed. It doesn't explode, but it is destroyed. Oh, a stunt bot. It's like he did one thing whole game. And now he is also destroyed. It's just carnage.
I'll take that.
So we're going to do the same as we did before with his gun track. He's going to fire onto those Forge Guard, hoping to put some suppression on them and do some damage. Didn't get much before. They are not shielded because they've got 2 suppression on them already. I'm going to use a Firestorm order again on him to try and boost his chances. So Firestorm on level 1, we get it, but we don't get the dice back. So we're rolling 1 dice, it's blast, so we don't have the -1 for the cover, so we need a 4 or more, but obviously I can re-roll and misses. We get a hit anyway, and it does D6 plus 2, so we get 5. And we're 5, no AP though, but 6s to wound.
Okay, the other veterans are going to shoot on the leader who's exposed himself, killing my tank. So we've got a magma cannon and a rocket launcher. Okay, so we get no cover.
Short range.
Short range. 3s. Rocket launcher. Come on, rocket launcher. Gets it.
And although the rocket launcher has a minimum range, it was well within that.
So D3 plus 2. Oh, for goodness sake. So it's 3. It's 5.
AP?
AP2.
Defense is 5. Oh, well, he is dead, because those 2 free are more than enough.
Right.
So for this Marauder unit, they are grounded at the moment. They have got more suppression than their nerve, more than double their nerve. So I need to roll 1 dice for each suppression point, that's 6, for make their recovery check. And they have a nerve of 2, so anything over 1 or a 2 is fine, but any 3, 4, 5 or 6, and they will either lose a model or move backwards. That could have been worse, so we have to make either lose 3 models or move back D3 inches per dice. I'm going to move backwards because I don't want to lose the models. Then we go back 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. But then of course they get to make a rally action as that, so they lose D6 plus 1. Suppression, they lose 3 suppression. So at the end of round 3, we've got the Jotuns moved up a bit. We've still got that Huskar and those Steel Warriors, who are Stormage veterans, sorry, who are still there. Have they still got suppression or have they lost it all now?
Oh, they should have lost
their
it.
headstrong.
Yeah,
Headstrong would have removed that. They've got another full squad here. Not much else on the Forge Files at this point. That's obviously been destroyed. There's a couple of Forge Guard over there. The Marauders aren't doing much better. There's a gun truck over there. A Hulk just moved out of the building over here, and a Commander over there. There's very little else here at all, apart from this Marauder squad who's retired a bit after taking all that suppression.
First activation will be these guys here, and they will attempt to fire at the half track over there. We've checked the range, they're in range. They're also going to try and pick up a Firestorm order with 1 dice. Okay, so level 1 order, Firestorm. We get it, just 1. We'll lose the dice then. Leaving me 1 dice this turn now. So we've got a missile launcher hitting on 5s. Rerolling misses because of Firestorm. Oh, gets it. D3 plus 2. 4. Okay, so it's defense 5, AP 2, looking for 3 wounds from the missile launcher.
That's actually enough to destroy it. Its resilience is only 3 anyway, so you've destroyed it already.
Magma cannons.
It's a vehicle though, so if you do want to put more damage on it, it could explode and hit the Hulk potentially.
Okay, we'll put the magma cannon on it. He gets to reroll misses. He missed. He needs a 5. He missed again.
So this Hulk is going to move into the building, taking cover, and then he's going to fire out from that building onto the Forge Guard. I didn't manage to re-roll any of my command dice, although I've got 8, and none of them came up with a plus. So I can't do anything other than just roll straight at them. They are in cover, so my normal accuracy is 3 goes to 4. That's the 3rd turn in a row, I think, that he has missed by 1.
Yoo-hoo!
Okay, well, he's activated.
Okay, so my Forge Guard have got a Sergeant, so they're not suppressed, so they're going to, with their 4 suppression, charge in on that Hulk, see if they can finish him off. 4 dice of fighting with their Forge Hammers.
Because the Hulk is in defensible terrain, he can remove, as a charge reaction, he can remove his activation token, so he'll be able to fight a bit more effectively. He wouldn't have been able to shoot anyway because his weapon is got slow reload anyway.
Fighting on 3s, and we're AP 4. We get 2.
And obviously there will be 2s to wound. 2 wounds. The Hulk has a resilience of 3, so he's not dead. I get 2 dice to fight back. I'm needing 4 pluses, and I'm AP 1. Oh, didn't manage to hit with iron.
Hulk, it's been shocking today.
But they're still engaged in combat, although I'm the loser, so you can...
Yeah, I'm going to push you back out of the building.
So a little fly around of the map at the end of the game. We ran out of charge a little bit at the end there, so we've missed the last few things, but not much changed. Forge Fires moved forwards. They captured strategic asset D over there, and then they destroyed the last of my Marauders here, with virtually the last dice roll of the game. Take out that Marauder unit. The only thing I had left at all actually was my Marauder captain, who had sneaked away over here to stay as far away as possible from any targets. And that is the end of the game, so we're going to a post-game analysis. Right, so there we go, victory for Hal and the Forge Fathers, obviously quite clearly.
Yes.
There's very little left on the Marauder side. The final score was, Hal, what did you get?
I got 21, which was very pleasing. So I was really worried middle of turn 3 when I started losing stuff and my brandy blew up. I was really worried about that. What did you get, Andy?
I got 8, unfortunately. So I got 3 points for kills. I only killed about 500 points of the Forge Fathers. And I got 2 of my secondary objectives. I got to, one of them was to escort my general. He stayed alive, so I got 3 points for that. And then no questions asked was for successful orders. Despite rolling loads of command dice, I only actually beat my orders, had more successes on my orders than I needed twice, which is pretty disappointing.
You didn't get many command dice back either, which was unusual since you had so many dice.
Yeah.
I managed to do all 3 of my secondary objectives. So I had hold the line, so no enemy getting into my deployment zone. I had the triple victory points on objective D, so I got that one as well, and I also got the Forge Trial special one where units that aren't suppressed get victory points at the end of the turn. So if I have no units that are suppressed, they get victory points. I picked that up on 3 turns. That was really good. And
you got 9 points for virtually wiping my army out because it was per 10%, so obviously with 1.
Yeah, again, Storm Rage veteran heavy weapon squads did the job again. Yeah. Everything else, terrible.
So, so I guess what was your MVP then for the...
Definitely my Storm Rage veterans. I was on and hour about them last game. Definitely this game, the dice they put on was amazing. The missile launch was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it generally went alright, but I'd built my army with so things like the Hulk suppliers cannons to deal with armour because I knew that was coming at me. But actually the shield absolutely ruined my chances of doing anything because by blocking, because a lot of my units only had 1 dice each, so things like the mortar were completely useless because although the blast would have been good in the buildings, the fact they only had 1 dice and no AP meant that I could never get through the shields, and I didn't have enough dice to roll to put down the shields or suppress units first. I could have done it with the Rippers, but the Rippers had too many other targets early on, and then I made a big mistake. Well, I don't know about a big mistake, but I sent 2 high impact units, the Warlord and then the Stuntbot, to take out his Halter. And actually, Halter's not worth many points and wasn't doing very much. So while it was really good,
put both units right in the firing line of the Storm Rage veterans.
Yeah.
Both units could fire upon them.
And they'd have been better probably just sitting on objectives. I also knew I needed objective B, over on this right hand side, and all along I didn't have enough over there. The unit I had to occupy that unit got destroyed very early on, and I didn't have enough to sort of reposition over that way because that was a really expensive triple asset for me. And the other final thing was that MVP wise, I guess would be the 2 Morbeast bombers. They both did incredibly well.
With 35 points?
Yeah, I think that's 35 points. The fire in the hole is the key thing for them. That you get no charge reactions to them, because that Brocker unit, we were umming and ahhing for a few minutes as to whether we could do it, but because they can't make an activation at all, unless Hal has spent a command point to use another unit to make a charge reaction, I think that would have been okay. If he hadn't done that, basically the dog gets in every time.
I think at that point I didn't have any command dice left anyway. And it rolled really well as well, didn't it? It killed.
Yeah, I mean, it killed 2 or 3 anyway
on the first bite,
and then blew up a whole bunch more. And then the last 2 that were left, they didn't manage to do anything. And similarly on the Forge Guard, whilst it didn't take them out, it took them from a viable squad down to a very small squad. And if I'd have rolled a bit better, they may even have come unstuck in combat against the Hulk. So yeah, I mean, enjoyable game.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Congratulations, Hal.
I can't believe you blew both my new tanks though.
And they are very nice tanks, but they do look good when you're facing them and they've blown up.
Yeah. Brandon didn't get to shoot, but I think being a bullet magnet, it took all his firepower, which
absolutely.
left virtually intact army.
And certainly the Stormwave veterans were virtually intact because of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope you've enjoyed this. This is obviously, we're hopefully getting a bit better on the rules, and I hope you like what we're doing with how we're trying to lay out the terrain and how we're trying to sort of engage with how the visuals work and stuff like that. If you have any comments, please feel free to let us know, either in a section down below on the Facebook group, or just message us anyway. So, thanks very much. Like, comment and subscribe, and we will hopefully get back to you soon with another back rep. For another either Warpath, Firefight, Dead Zone or Kings of War.
We need to do a Dead Zone, I think. I think we need to do a Dead Zone report next.
Yeah, I think so. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks very much.
Okay, bye.